Hi, this is Dee at Aloha Astro, and today is the full moon in Aries, September 29th, 2023. It's a cardinal fire sign, and it occurred at 5:57 a.m. at 6 degrees 0 minutes of Aries. Let's take a look at the energy of the day. Full moon in Aries, Friday, September 29th, brings you to what feels like a trial by fire or the blazing of a path in a new direction, as the moon in the Mars-ruled cardinal fire sign, which is associated with the first house of self in the zodiac wheel, opposes the sun in Libra, while Mars forms a T-square aspect pattern with Chiron conjunct the North Node in Aries and Pluto in Capricorn. A grand trine and kite aspect pattern involving Jupiter conjunct Uranus in Taurus, Pluto, and Mercury in Virgo opposing Neptune in Pisces gives you the tools to manifest a new reality when you are able to discern what is truly possible and move forward in spite of any doubt or fear. Expect that your fears and any blocks will make themselves apparent due to the T-square already mentioned, which tags Pluto, as well as a second T-square consisting of Saturn in Pisces, Jupiter and Uranus in Taurus, and Venus in Leo. Look at these T-squares as the pressure being brought to bear, which will motivate you to claim the power of Pluto and the authority of Saturn for yourself. As the moon moves further into Aries, it will join Chiron and the North Node, activating a trine aspect they form with Venus, which will help you tune into your heart's true desire and will give you the courage to act on that truth. The Aries full moon backs you with fearless warrior energy and reliable self-preservation instincts when you step into the fire, but avoid acting on an impulse generated by fear. Center yourself before making a decision or taking an action. So, let's first take a look at the chart and what's going on at this time, and definitely stuff's happening everywhere. Most notably, we have that seesaw chart going on where we've got a lineup of the faster moving planets, Venus, Mercury, Sun, Mars. Over on one side of the chart, running through Leo, Virgo, Libra, and soon, very soon, we're going to be entering Scorpio territory. We've got the energy on the other side of the wheel with Aquarius, Pisces, actually Capricorn, and soon we're going to see a shift into Aquarius when we go into the new year with Pluto returning to Aquarius. But for now, Capricorn, Pisces, Aries, Taurus energy. And with the exception of the moon on this side of the chart wheel, we have all of those outer planets on this side, all in retrograde motion. Pluto, Saturn, Neptune, Jupiter, Uranus are all retrograde. So it may feel or appear as if not a lot is moving, or perhaps you're struggling to make it move or to keep up with what's going on around you due to those retrograde planets. But often the retrograde energy gives you an opportunity to do something over again. And taking a look at the past, how you might have not stepped into the power of Pluto or not stepped into the mastery or authority of Saturn. Now those planets may be tapping you on the shoulder saying, hey, look, put your boundaries down or stand in your power, master something, claim it. Neptune, retrograde, beauty, healing, inspiration, upliftment, or victim, savior, martyr. Where are you going to go with that? Which do you choose to be experiencing in your life right now, coming from the perspective of a victim, or choosing to keep your eye on something higher and better as you're moving forward? Chiron, very needs oriented and aware of how you must care for yourself on all levels. as it's in Aries, and it is conjunct the North Node, which points to destiny, purpose, life lessons, karma. Basically, what path are you choosing? What are you creating? And that trine that I mentioned to Venus in Leo, this is the sign of the creator. Leo rules the fifth house of creativity. Venus, whatever feels pleasurable, happy, familiar, comfortable to you. What do you desire? What is your heart saying? So that trine is really one of the more important aspects that sits outside of the Grand Trine and Kite and sits outside of the two T-squares. Those two T-squares that are tagging Saturn and Pluto, these are planets that do stir up fear. And if you've failed before, or even if you feel like you're at a point of failure right now, the question to ask yourself really, is it failure, or are you meant to simply be done with whatever it is and moving to another level? Are you happy? There's no point in doing something or being somewhere if you're not happy. Because when you're not at your fullest potential. You're cheating yourself and others of your full potential when you are not. So the other aspect that stands outside of, let me make sure I see it. There it is. The sun making a trine to Pluto. And that stands outside of that Grand Trine and Kite. And it's sitting outside of the T-square with Pluto. That's another place to be directing your attention toward, particularly in relationships. And it may be time to transform something, or to put down a boundary, or more clearly claim your power within any relationship dynamic, any type of a relationship, whether it's business or romantic or friendship or family. How are you in regard to whoever you're relating with? And are you being clear in how you're communicating and relating? So the potential for transformation is strong, and basically being responsible for yourself, because nobody's going to come in and do that for you. And if you're thinking that somebody will, or if you're looking for that in another person, then you're most likely going to be disappointed and find that you're not getting what you really want or desire. So we've got oppositions going on the relationship axis, which is basically pointing toward Aries and Libra, self and the other. And then we have oppositions going on with Leo energy and Pisces, and Virgo energy and Pisces. This is going to be focusing upon what can you create that you want to stick with, that you would actually invest your time and attention in it as you move forward to the future. Is like, why are you doing what you're doing is really the bigger question, because of that dominating kite with Mercury in Virgo, and that's the who, what, when, why, where, how of something. This is looking at things and analyzing things and discerning why you're doing what you're doing, or how are you going to go do what you need to do, and how are you going to anchor the spiritual or the dream or the vision into reality as you move toward the future and greater empowerment and change and growth. It's going to require work. basically, is what the two T-squares are saying. It's going to require some self-determination and self-direction and not relying entirely upon somebody else. That doesn't mean don't have relationships, but you have to look at your role in everything right now while that Aries full moon is being um, accentuated and shining that light into wherever you have Aries energy within your own natal chart. Obviously, relationships and then the practicality and the spirituality in balance are definitely going to be highlighted in your own natal chart, as well as the creativity and the work being put into the growth and the change. The houses are, of course, determined by the location of your birth and the time of your birth within your own natal chart. So you would have to look at your chart and see where are these transiting planets, what house are they sitting in. You can look at the house numbers on the inside of the chart wheel to see where those planets are on the outer edge of your chart wheel to determine what areas of life are you experiencing all these different themes going on. They are all separate themes, but they're all pulling together. And basically, when we look at the two sides of the wheel, we're dealing with the creation of our reality and our relationships, and we have to consider the bigger worldview or the spiritual side of things or the long-term impact of anything that we're choosing to do or anything we move forward with that we're taking with us from the past. It may also be time to let go of a lot of things from the past, but you won't know what those things are unless you look at them. And I think it's just no coincidence that there's a whole bunch of retrograde energy with planets that are much more generational, affect society as a whole, are more profound in your bigger views of life, yet you can't ignore them because they're being tapped by all those faster moving planets opposing them. So you have to find that midpoint or that balance, and you have to deal with the here and the now and the mundane, and you have to deal with the future and what's coming up ahead, and the more sacred or spiritual in terms of how you moderate your energy and where you direct your attention to create what it is that you want. And yes, we have to be busy doing, but we also have to be busy being. So making time for both those things, the things that you must do and need to do in balance with the dreaming, the sleeping, the retreat, and all the other energy where you nurture that spirit within you and you open up to vibrational increase within you so that you can get to where you want to go. So, wow, yeah, lots going on. And that Aries energy is very initiating. It says, I am. Cardinal Aries says, I am. So you are decreeing things into your life right now through your feelings and your choices and decisions and the things that you do, the people you hang out with, all of that all plays in. And finding the balance and choosing what makes you happy, overcoming your fears, your blocks, your resistances. I mean, change is inevitable. The future comes whether we are creating it or whether we're taking a passive, sit back and let it happen. But either way, it's coming and there will be changes around you or you will initiate changes. And the mutable energy of Virgo and Pisces is bringing you the flexibility, the adaptability, the circumspect view of being able to look at multiple options and choices And then the cardinal energy of this full moon is saying, hey, look, it all comes down to you and what do you want? And then you have to make that decision. You have to create that and you have to claim some responsibility for your own feelings, your decisions, and your actions. Figure out what feels like your proper purpose or path. All right. Don't be scared. You've got the sun in a trine to Pluto backing you up. Um, but also don't be stupid. Basically, um, take risks within what you can afford to lose or let go so you can be filled back up and something can come in and replace what you're clinging to that might no longer be serving you. Let's take a look at the Sabian symbol that we have for this 6 degrees. A square with one of its sides brightly illumined. Keynote: the emotional desire for concrete and stabilized existence as a person. This desire for individualization operates at first as a one-pointed or one-sided drive, focusing itself upon an exclusive goal. All emotions are at first possessive, and all cultural manifestations operate on the principle of exclusion. All that does not belong to the tribal sphere, one blood, one land, one folk, is the potential enemy. This is a necessary phase for, as in the case of the woman emerging from the sea, which was a previous symbol, the first attempt at building an inner realization of integral being may be defeated at any time by the regressive pull toward undifferentiation and the prenatal state of non-individualization within the vast womb of nature or within unformed cosmic space. This first stage of the second fivefold sequence of symbols presents the theme, which will be dialectically developed, a five-phase dialectical process, a one-sided urge for inner stability. Definitely centering within yourself right now while you are sitting in the middle of just a bombardment of energy in all different directions. Any one given planet is interacting with so many other planets that we've basically got like a musical symphony going on here of all different notes going on. And to isolate one particular thing is not easy. Venus to Mars between Leo and Libra, that also speaks of the happier you are, the happier you're going to be with other people, or they will be with you. That really the being true to yourself and choosing what makes you happy is the best thing that you can do for anybody else or the world around you. And that is really the work of everything moving forward. But finding that self within and basically saying, I'm okay, no matter what anybody else thinks of me right now, no matter what my success at my business or my job is or isn't, is irrelevant, that the essential you is absolutely fine, and you're going to tune into that and figure out what's your next step to basically fill in all the other sides of that square from what it sounds like in the Sabian symbol. One side's lit. It's like a coming into a form, and the form has not been filled entirely yet. So you're seeking to create your form or structure as you move forward, and it may be something entirely new and different than who you were yesterday or a month ago or a year or 10 years ago. And that is what the planets are all about, that they keep moving. Your natal chart is a frozen moment in time, but it's always being impacted by the transits and progressions and solar returns, lunar returns. The wheels keep moving, wheels within wheels. And each time a cycle comes through that's repeated before, other planets may be in different positions, usually are, that gives you a new perspective and the opportunity to do things in a different way. So sometimes history does repeat, but the value of it is that we learn by that repetition, and then we're always given opportunities to choose again and do something in a different way. And that is progress. And this is the beginning of what I think is a massive shift for people individually and collectively at this point in time. And put your seatbelts on, because October coming up, we have kind of a repeat of this energy at the full moon at the end of October, which also is coming up in Aries, but at the tail end of the sign. Let me double check that before I say something that is not true, but I do believe that on October the 28th, we're going to be looking at, yeah, no, we're going to have October, it's going to be 5 degrees of Taurus. It's the new moon on the 14th. We're at 21 Libra. We're going to be looking at the opposite side of the Aries energy. But anyway, get ready, because we've got 2 eclipses coming up in October. We're still having a focus on the Aries and Libra axis, and then we're going to move on to the Taurus-Scorpio axis at the end of the month in October. All right, take care, stay safe, and look inside yourself.